Yo, this is incense, and I'm insensible towards my own privacy. Yesterday I got punched in the face by angry kids, and the question is, of course, what's the meaning of this? I woke up today and I have to admit that I don't really feel different than on other days, which is strange because you may think, or you would think, that something would have a tremendous effect on the way I feel, but you know, I just have this bit of anger that's always there, which is what's driving me. And all I can say is I've set the scene for whatever is going to happen. And, you know, sometimes I feel like I should keep things private, but I'm so bad at this. I just chucked my tobacco because it's crap. And it's literally turning me into some kind of sad, I don't know what, right? As long as I don't smoke, I feel terrible, and I really reject this kind of life. You know, smoking, you know, I haven't really smoked tobacco in a long time. And then I started again, and it's just like, yeah, why did you ever do that in the first place? You know, the last couple of 1 or 2 years, the only way I used tobacco was through rapé. I might have taken a drag occasionally from a joint, but actually I didn't do that. I always said, you know, if I smoke pure. But I finally get somewhere close to saying, you know, I reject smoking altogether. Which, I don't know if that means that I'm never going to smoke again, but I'm certainly going to reduce it. I'm going to stay away from tobacco, and I'm just going to drink my sage's tea. Yeah, I'm not really going to say anything. You know, I put on more decorations, and right now I just have to keep going, which is why, yeah, sure, man, I've got punched in the face. You see nothing of it. You know, I feel it a little here, but that might be something else, right? Because it was like, you know, making potatoes, which is one of the simplest things you can do. You take them, you slice them, right? I do use baking paper because, yeah, it's, you know, first you wash them. Some people peel them, I don't peel them. Now I have a small tray, so I make a small batch of potatoes. And then I eat it with mayonnaise that I bought. Of course, you can make mayonnaise yourself, also vegan mayonnaise. And that's being done by using 2 parts oil and 1 part either soy milk or this fluid that you get from canned chickpeas. I have no functioning, you know, these blenders at the moment. Maybe that's good, I'm not sure. But it certainly does help to blend things together. You know, sometimes I like a soup that's blended. And maybe I'm just gonna quickly talk about the relevance of intense experience for spiritual growth. You know, I just made that up. What a genius. Sure. Of course, you need oil. I'm trying to use less of it, but I like things a bit greasy. Right, so you know, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say what's going to happen in your life. I constantly keep wondering who that woman is going to be. And you do realize that I talk about this a lot. But sometimes things appear and then they fade away again. It's like, you know, ripples. You know, one ripple is chasing another ripple. You know, sometimes I'm a ripple, sometimes I'm more like a tsunami. But, you know, if I'm a tsunami, then I also have to crash. Sometimes it's better to just be like smaller waves or something. Now I've created ripples, and one of these ripples came and punched me in the face. What happened? Well, I can tell you what happened, roughly. Well, I walked through the city, I was on my way home, and 3 guys came, and it was like maybe 4 in the morning. They were like, "Do you remember me? You know, you laughed at me." "You laughed at me," they said. What the heck? You know, I was carrying a lot of weight. You know, I'm just talking like emotional weight, but also just the weight of what I was carrying, which was a backpack, which was heavy. You know, it's alright, it's all relative, of course. When you're strong, then what's heavy? And then I carried myself, and I carried 2 bags with groceries and oil and stuff. It was like I said, let's say it was 3:45. Or maybe it was, I know I was home at about 4:33 or something. And I was in bed at 6:22. And now it's about 12. You know, this is the state that I'm living in. I have no proper kitchen at the moment, which is also a state that I desire. You know, I chose it to be like this because I said no to having a proper kitchen installed. Of course, I could always go back on that, but to be honest, it keeps me being inventive. Plus, I also like to make my own furniture, which is something I'm building towards. Because I want to make this place my own. You know, I don't know who the kitchen is gonna be from if I'm just buying one. And I'd like to be in a room where I know that the energy that is in here has been, somehow like created by myself. So sure, it's already an apartment that's being paid by my parents, you know, but that also comes with a burden. And the burden is being grateful and to humble yourself into accepting the money from people that can fund you. Which is why I'm always asking for donations. If you like what I'm doing, if you want to support me, you know, all the information is on my website, which is christopher-reusch.com. Which may be an option for you if you say, you know, I don't know, right? Maybe you get something out of this. Maybe you like what I'm doing. You can say, hey, I'll support that guy instead of punching him in the face. Sure, right? It's like a couple of weeks ago, I went through the city during the day and there was this guy and he was walking like this. You know, if somebody walks like this, you already know he's a phony. If somebody walks like this, you know, pumping his chest up, and then you see, you know, his legs are like all spindly, and then they walk around like in a strut. And I was like, are you kidding me, man? It's like, you look like you own the street, but you're, you know, like, I want to say you're the scariest bugger around, but you know, that's probably me, right? I'm not sure. I'm actually not scary, but some people are afraid of me. Or maybe they have respect for me, you know, it's hard to say, and sometimes you have to earn the respect. And he didn't earn the respect, but he acted like, you know, we owed it to him. And he was walking around, I think he had his phone in his hand, I was like walking up to him and I just started saying things. You know, sometimes I just talk gibberish. I mean, I use words, but I was like, you talking to him, and then at one point he was like, what the fuck, man? And then he vanished into a shop, which meant, oh, who's owning the street now, right? Because you were on your way somewhere else, and now you're gone, right? You vanished, because truth came around the corner and said, what's gonna happen? And so yesterday I was at a friend's place where I'm saying we, because in this way I'm starting to identify myself with the project of creating space. Of creating space, right? So that people can get together. And, that's an honorable mission. Of course, I'm saying that, and you will never know if that's real. Unless it's gonna be real, and then you're gonna see the result. Yeah, I first want to drink a coffee, because sometimes, I just feel like it helps me to push out something that I'm holding on to. Because this is not just food, right? I'm eating to keep going because the food is assisting me to let go and to transmute energy into something else. And, I've washed them already twice, I think. Well, I'm fairly happy that most of the potatoes are still holding their ground. It's like I thought they would go off, which they didn't, which is nice. Anyway, now I can also, because I already recorded it for my podcast, that was just after it happened, and it felt kind of lame, to be honest. It's like you're talking about this and you think, that doesn't sound heroic at all. It just sounds like, yeah, this happened to me. But that's what happens if you're like down to earth, right? If you're like up in the air, you're like, oh wow, this happened. It's not the first time it happened, right? Somebody comes, punches you in the face, already happened to me once. Now it happened to me twice, several times. And both times when I got it here, that was like 2 years back or something. And now I got it here. And now I already, I threw away the tobacco and I already think I want to get it back, but I think this time I'm going to make sure it's going to land in the trash, because then I'm also going to make sure I'm not going to buy it again, because it's just such a waste of money, right? I can drink a coffee, I can buy garlic, I can buy nice oil, or I can buy really stupid tobacco which does nothing. It does nothing because it's too weak. It doesn't do what I want. And this is why, for me specifically, right, rapé is a much better option, because it actually takes care of that fear. Of course, you can also learn to hold the fear yourself. Oh yeah. This is coffee that I ground, with an electric grinder, because I gave away all my manual ones. These wooden coffee mills. And I blended it together with cardamom pods, green cardamom pods. And now I'm gonna... It's not awfully full, right? I don't feel like I need to go overboard now. I just want to drink a coffee. And that's it. It doesn't have to be like 500% or something. Just want to make sure. All right. Now I feel like, okay, certainly there can be some food in my stomach. I've just made an artwork, got you now. And who did I get? Well, I was walking around, and maybe I'm just gonna place it here so I can do a proper show or something. Cheers. And I was basically walking like this, right? I had my backpack, the green one. And I was walking like, had bags, I think, in my left hand, or one left, one right, I'm not quite sure. And then I walked around the corner because I thought actually, you know, something was pulling me towards an area where I know that there's sometimes a friend of me who spends a considerate amount on the streets, especially during the nights. And so I walked, and then 3 guys came. I mean, I say guys, but they're more like kids, right? They're like little children. I mean, how old are they? Right? Sometimes it's hard to say, but I'm fairly certain they were like 16 or something, like these little kids. They were like 3 guys, like, do you remember me? It's like 3 in the morning, like, why aren't you in bed? Because it's holidays, I assume. And maybe their parents don't care, I don't know. Because it was a Tuesday morning. Then I was walking, I was like minding my own business. That's probably what he did, right? You know, I took a piss on it and it backfired. So yeah, sure, it's my own fault, right? Because I was disrespecting somebody's privacy, right? I was right in there. Then they came and they were like, do you remember me? And then they started walking like this. And I just walked like backwards, you know, like this. Away from them. Which is an act of faith because I had no time to check for glass. You know, I could have stepped into glass. Which I didn't. Which I'm grateful for. And maybe that's what you could call trust. Oh, I have to turn off my hotspot. Anyway, so I was walking backwards and they kept coming. They were like, hey! You know, you could already see how they were like waiting for an opportunity to punch me. And I was like walking backwards and thought, what the fuck are you doing, man? Because I don't want to punch nobody. And I didn't. They punched themselves, basically. And then one guy pulled out something. It looked like a knife. He later said it was a toy. But it looked like a knife and he was holding it. And he was doing like a kick or something. It's like, you know, I was like, oh wow, you know, nice kick. And all the time I was walking backwards. And then they said, you know, give me your bag or something. They just wanted something. I think, you know, they just wanted a piece of me. Or maybe they wanted my piece, right? Because what happened, or what happens if you go to someone and you like, you know, I made fun of him. I have to be true about that. I did make fun of him. Maybe I had a bad day, or maybe I just thought, you know, maybe I just wanted a friend. And that's my coffee. Yeah, I'm right there. So sure, I had no idea that this would happen. It just, I sometimes have a feeling of something is building up. I thought something else would happen. I felt a bit like sad, and the thought of seeing my friend actually enlightened me. And he's been telling me that he often gets hit by people, that they come to him, they want to punch him. And, that he then starts slapping them. And so I kept walking backwards, and they kept coming closer, and then we walked even further around a corner, and then somehow it came to a stop or to a halt. Which is when I started talking, man, you really take a knife, man? What are you gonna do if I actually wanna die? I'm gonna jump into it and then you have my blood on your hand. And then he said, yeah, it was a toy, and I said, yeah, show me. And he refused, which is either, if it would be a toy, it says like never bring a knife to a fist fight. So what happened? Well, we started standing there. And then they asked me for a bag. I gave him a plastic bag. He said he was collecting bottles or something. Because you get money back from the shops when you return them. Plastic bottles, also glass bottles. That's the way it's done in Germany. Keeps the trash off the streets. And also earns some people living. And then, they just were really angry, and then one guy started, because there were three, and then one guy started to loosen up a little when I said, I've got YouTube. And then they said, oh yeah, wow, and then they looked me up. And then suddenly it turned out, because that one guy, he wanted to settle the debt or something, because you laughed at me, you laughed at me. No, man, you're laughing at yourself, because you're pretending, you're a pretender. I don't really know how it happened anymore. There was a conversation, suddenly they came, and there were like fists flying, they hit me here, and then one guy kicked me in the stomach. Yeah, I don't really feel that. I mean, do I look fat? I don't know, right? I mean, there's not much substance to me, but I've been hardened by life. And they were probably 17, maybe 15, right? And they were with 3. And even if it was a toy knife, I don't know. So either he was afraid to show it to me because it was a real knife, maybe it was also a stupid question from me, but I just wanted to know. He said it was fake, and I was like, yeah, but I don't know that, right? If I'm really dangerous, I may feel really threatened, and then I may take your fake knife, if it's fake, as a reason to really harm you, because maybe I have a knife, right? Maybe I'm prepared to protect myself against you, and it's okay for me to take your life. Good for them that I'm somewhat peaceful. And so they punched me, and the weird thing is I actually felt nothing. I felt an impact, but no pain. This is strange, it's not like I've never been hit in the face here. I was once hit in the face there, but that was, I turned my head down, and he got me like this, and now they got me like this, and I think one here. Yeah, I feel it. It's like a bit of a bruise, but I've got a beard, so you won't really see it. I thought about, should I slap them? Should I punch them in the chest? I did nothing. And then I kept going. I was like, I was making a bit of fun of him. He was like, stop provoking me. Who's provoking you? You're provoking yourself, man. Nobody's forcing you to hit people. Because what are you afraid of? You know, you walk around like this, you want to be tough. You're not tough, you're a pussy because you need friends. You know, it's a weird situation to be in. And after that was done, right, they were like, you know, you have to leave now. I say, yeah, I'm gonna stand here, you're gonna go now. I said something like this, I don't remember what I said. You know, it's not that important. It's like really, really irrelevant. Like, I mean that, it's like really irrelevant. To me, you know, I see it as promotion. Now they're sticking. That's always the challenge when making fries. How to not have them stick. So, right, it's like in a way irrelevant to me. You know, I just don't want that they come with more friends. And then what am I gonna do? But now I did nothing, which is either good, because maybe if I would have punched them, they would have taken the lesson and never touched me again. But now I allowed them to punch me, and I said something like, yeah, I'll do this another time. You know, because I don't really want to overload the internet anymore. Because I don't think they deserve it, to be honest. Like, literally. It's like, I don't think everybody deserves everything. Which is why I simply did nothing. You know, it's like smiling. It's like, what is going on, man? Yeah, I made sure that I was the last one standing. And they left. And that's it, right? It's like, you see? I'm the last one standing. And they left. But then I went the long way home. Because you don't know what people do. You know, they can do all kinds of things. You know, gather more friends to come back. To really do me. It's so tedious, to be honest. It's so tedious. And so what do you do about it? Well, what can you do about it? You can accept that there's people that are really angry. Yeah. And then just, yeah, it's not about pitying them. It's just about accepting that there is people that are really angry. That's all you can do. It's like, all right, there is people that are really angry. That's it. Right? It's like, I mean, these were kids, right? I'm not challenging. Yeah, I've done that also. Anyway, you never know what's gonna come out of this. He felt threatened. He thought he has to protect the image that he has of himself. And in the end, I was the one that got punched in the face. Which is maybe better than them punching other guys in the face. But still, right? what's gonna come out of it? Nothing, probably. Because next time they know, right? It's like when you approach a dog and the dog is afraid. You approach it, it's gonna bite, right? It's like, all right, you know, I get that. You know, it's possible. Then the dog will bite, and then it's bitten. And if you're the one that approached the dog, because you entered the dog's space, then you're the one that's gonna get bitten. Which means to say, right, if you're the one that's going around, you know, challenging people because you want to show that you're a real tough guy, now I'm gonna name this, what's tough about punching people? Nothing. If you punch someone, you're the biggest pussy around. That's my opinion. Right, it's like, there's nothing courageous about punching someone else. Because the reason that you punch them is because you're afraid. And you cannot communicate what you want to say in any other way than with your fists. And that means you're actually weak. You're the one that needs help. Well, maybe I helped him by sprinkling a bit of fear, by showing that there are people you cannot intimidate. But I still, right? I mean, whatever he had in his hand, might have been my death. And that's what the message is of this recording. You never know who you're toying with. You never know it. Well, they were toying with me. I did nothing. Well, I reminded them that it's about peace, right? That it's about being peaceful and being respectful with each other. You know, sometimes I can't help it. I see somebody walking around like, you know, he's like the toughest guy. Sometimes I like to remind them that there are other people. I was alone. They left, I stayed, and then I walked home. But I also realized that the people I met, you know, they felt a bit like a threat. You know, not entirely, but it's possible, right? You don't know. And that's where paranoia comes in. Right? It's like, I sometimes don't know who or how I'm supposed to be. And I mean that. Sometimes I'm not sure, should I have punched them to teach them a lesson? But I just feel like I have no energy for this. Like, I have no strength to really severely hurt people and mean it. You know, it said like, is that stupid? You know? But I also felt no need to really like give them that. Because that would have meant, right, they wanted me to punch them. Because then they would have a reason, you know, to really go down on me, right? And like really do something. Maybe they wanted to know that they are really threatening. Yeah, maybe they wanted to be acknowledged. And I simply never gave in to their threats. And then the one guy said, you know, oh, man, that guy's alright. But the other ones, they just wanted to punch me. Yeah. It's weird. You know, I don't know what you can take out of these experiences that I give you. You know, I'm just grateful that I'm alive. Question is, maybe next time I'm just gonna mind my own business and focus on creating a life for myself and being with a woman that I love and focus on having children, because if I go down that road and I walk around like myself, right, like I own the street, and I piss off anybody that looks like he's phony, and I put fear into their hearts or something. I thought it was love. He thought it was fear. Yeah, it was truth. Hey, that's you, that's me, you know? You left. So you sometimes don't know what's gonna come out of it. My feeling, you know, I'm uncertain about it. Why am I uncertain about it? Because it's a new experience. I also felt like, in a way, I've been waiting for it. And I've been prepared for it. And when it happened, I was a bit taken aback. So what am I supposed to do next time? You know, just think about it for yourself, right? This looks delicious. Right. Just think about it for yourself. How are you supposed to engage with things like this? Well, I felt like I realized that they were just angry kids. So what's the point in punching them? Because I'm actually more like a father to them. It's like these bachelor herds that you have in nature, which is, you know, nature's everywhere. We think we create cities, we're outside of nature, but nature's everywhere. You know, it's like weird. It says like, as of today, maybe I'm gonna be a little bit more humble towards other people and what they carry. Because I actually don't give a shit about how you feel. And that's the truth. Because it's your problem that you feel bad. You know, it's your problem that you feel bad. It's your bloody problem that you feel bad. Right? So why do you have to make it my problem? Well, who's to say, right? It's like, you know, just keep it to yourself then. Right? Why do you have to push it into my face? Right? Why do you have to push it into my face? If you're unhappy, deal with it. Because all that anxiety is making me nervous, you know? People are so stuck up at being, you know, like super strong or super tough or super whatnot. And I'm sick of having to deal with this shit. And I really mean that. So maybe I just have to stay away, right? But at the same time, do I want to allow them to put fear into my heart? Which would mean that I will not go through the city at night anymore? Is that now the safe thing to do? Because I actually feel like I just want to go where I want to go when I want to go there. You know, isn't that the way you should live? Yeah, I don't know. But it's just about thinking, you know, where do you want to be? Do you want to spend the rest of your life having a tussle with little kids? You know, that just want to let off some steam? No, I'd rather have sex with a woman that wants to give me children. And maybe I just had to hold my ground and just fight my way, right? It's like, and say, you know, all right, whatever happens, because maybe somebody is coming one day. To do something about something, which is always a bit stupid. But yeah, it's hard to say. It's always hard to say. You know, it's like, who is to say? Well, you can't really say anything. All you can say is, you know, when you are in a situation like this, you're more or less on your own. You have to decide how you want this to be. You know, if you punch them, all right. You know, it's your choice. If you punch them, then it's your choice. Your choice. And then you have to deal with the consequences. And then it would escalate. So if I'm the adult, then I have to act like an adult. You know, I have years of experience. I've survived for 34 years. You know, I fought myself out of one of the deepest depressions I've ever been in. And I've learned to make art and to deal with my emotions in a way that helps me to heal, right? Yeah, and then something like this happens and you're like, what the fuck, you know, am I still doing the right thing? I don't know, man. Maybe, you know, he could get rid of some of his anger. Because in the end, they got nothing left. And they left. Right? Anger gone, cheers. You know, how am I supposed to know what that means to anyone? Because to me, it's kind of, you know, I'm punching myself. Right? Because that's what spirituality offers. We are all one. So the question is, why am I punching myself? You know, why do I feel like I deserve to be punched? But what it was a challenge. Can I keep the peace? You know, can I hold my ground? Can I remain peaceful? And I did, in my own way. Whirly hurly life soup. That's the image that I'm creating now, according to this experience. Whatever, it's like, you know, there's always another perspective. There's always another challenge. There's always another experience. But ultimately, there's you, right? Because in the end, I'm alone at home. Even if I'm not alone, you know, I'm the one that has to deal with what just happened. And I dealt with it, right? It's like, I dealt with it. And now I just have to make sure, you know, I don't know. You know, hey, what? You know, I don't know as far as certain things go. Sometimes, right? It's like, it's overwhelming. That's all I can say to you. Right? It's overwhelming. That's all you can ever say. And it came unexpected. I feel like if I want to talk to someone, you know, then I should just talk to them. Maybe just don't make fun of people because they're angry, and if they feel like you're an outlet for them, they're gonna use you. And I'm not a prostitute, right? If you want a piece of me, read my book. And that's helping the mission more than going around challenging little kids, you know, that's just like puffed up idiots. Of course, it's like respect for respect. And he did do nothing but walk around, you know. Maybe I just thought, you know, he's weak because I'm not doing this to people who are strong, you know. I'm also a coward in my own way. But at the same time, I also feel like I want to engage with kids, right? With young adults. But to what degree do I want to do that? You know, you're creating ripples when you do things like this. You just have to be aware that you have no idea what these ripples are going to do. You know, it's like an avalanche. And that's like the kind of an avalanche, right? That may like come in the form of, you know, if you like selling drugs on the streets, you know, maybe the police is gonna come. And there's a part of me that's a bit sad about it, because that's what just happened to me, you know? But at the same time, you know, tough. That's what happened to me. All right. You know, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what they took home. Maybe they took home like, holy crap, like that guy's insane. I mean, did you see that? We punched him in the face and he never even flinched. Maybe that's what they got out of it. And maybe they got out of it, yeah, we're gonna really get him next time. But I think the energy's gone. They blew it. You know, they wanted to spit on me and like, yeah, now you see what you got. But they were the ones that left, like, oh my God. Maybe that's the way it is. It's hard to say. It's hard to see. You know, I'm just gonna eat my food now, and I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do. Because the worst thing you can do then is hide, right? I wanna open up to life. I just did my art. I'm gonna pack my things, first eat, pack my things, and then leave. I think that's what I owe to myself, that I move on. Because I know they're just kids, right? They just wanted to see me like beg for my life, like, please don't hurt me. Maybe I should have done that, please. But that's not what I want, right? I'm trying to take it as a man. And that's hard. Life is hard. Life is hard.